What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Fanboy Talks, where we talk about everything fanboys care about. My name is Vaughn.
And my name is Chase.
And let's get into this! So today we are going to be talking about whether it is a good idea to delay video games. I'm pretty sure we have fairly similar opinions on this, but we're going to give you guys some pros, some cons, and kind of let you guys decide what you think is a good idea, I guess. That's where we're going with this.
We'll map it out, and then you guys tell us.
Yeah, in the comments down below, leave a comment letting us know what you guys think. So I think it's a good idea.
I do as well.
Yeah, the largest reason that a lot of games get delayed is because they're definitely just not ready to be put out. Like,
they're not polished. They're not. Yeah,
it's to keep them from having day one patches. That's one of the reasons that Final Fantasy 15 was delayed, so it didn't have day one patches. A lot of games are delayed so they don't have day one patches.
And then I can think of a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 that could have been delayed, but wasn't. Or it may have been delayed, but it could have been delayed more, just to kind of give us an actual online instead of just throwing out the game when it wasn't completely ready, and then we had to deal with just a campaign for a month or so before they actually installed the online and let us actually play online.
Yeah, I feel like there's two different scenarios with this whole thing. There's putting out a game with mechanical issues, and they put it out beforehand and it has mechanical issues. And then there's like putting out a game and they're just lacking something, like online or like a couple features.
Which is definitely not as bad as mechanical issues. If there's something wrong with the game, you have to fix that before launch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the biggest thing that comes to mind with these most recent updates and everything, in my mind, is honestly No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate talking about No Man's Sky. I didn't think it was a bad game. I actually enjoyed it. I went into it with moderate expectations. You guys can actually check out our video on that.
Everyone else went into it expecting the greatest game of all time, and that's where they kind of fell off.
Yeah, that's where they definitely fell off the map. And with these most recent updates, I honestly think it would have hit closer to that bullseye if they waited. Like, if Sony didn't seemingly push Hello Games into releasing the game so early on, a lot of the things that they promised obviously weren't in the game. That's a big thing. Everyone knows that already. But there's a lot of more stuff actually being put into the game right now. You've got vehicles, you've got base building, you've got class systems, you've got new rare items. There's so many interesting things that are being put in this game. And if it was just released with it, it would have been way more critically acclaimed. There would have been a lot more people enjoying this game. I can't even say they would make more money, because they made a shitload of money off that game.
Well, that's what happens when there's so much hype surrounding something, and then it just comes out. And it's not necessarily a dud, because I heard a lot of people, like Greg Miller, talked about how much he loved it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people liked the game, but it wasn't necessarily what they expected it to be when it came out, because, they were talking about, oh, this game's going to be revolutionary, there's going to be no way people are going to find each other for however long, and then turns out, what was it?
People technically found each other the first day.
Yeah, but there was no interaction.
Yeah, you couldn't interact. I mean, now there's still very little interaction, but I think it would have been better than what they released with. So if they just waited, it would have been way more well received, way more polished, way more everything. Because some of the new ships look a lot better. There's a lot more rarity. Now there's different ship categories. So there's one that's meant to be a freighter and one that's meant to be an attacking ship. There's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, to get off the topic of No Man's Sky, we did talk about Grand Theft Auto 5 releasing without an online. I don't think that one is as bad, because I think the campaign was a large portion of it, and you could do a lot in that campaign, but I definitely think delaying it a month later, because the online came out maybe
a month. I think it was somewhere around a month.
It was a month, maybe
a
month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was delayed just maybe a week or so. I mean, that's kind of a ridiculous delay. I think delaying a week, would just be ridiculous, but I mean, if to get it slightly closer and give people somewhat less time to play the campaign. I understand why Rockstar did that though, because that campaign is huge. There's a lot to do in that game, and it's really to get you ready and in that world, and then they give you that online and you get to really play around in it.
Yeah, but see, I wanted to just go straight to online. I mean, the story was cool, and I knew I would eventually finish it, but I finished it the first month it came out because I had to, because there's nothing else to do. I didn't want to finish it.
I mean, it wasn't a bad story.
No, it was a great story. I really enjoyed it. The characters were really in depth and stuff like that. But I just wanted to play online.
Yeah, the experience that you were looking for wasn't put out immediately.
And then another thing we can kind of like bring up is Breath of the Wild, because I've heard a lot of things that it was like supposed to be like on launch day of like the Wii U.
Oh, Breath of the Wild has been delayed a long time. Yeah, that's the reason they actually put it on the Wii U. What was because they promised to have this on the Wii U years and years later.
That probably sold the system for people as, oh, Breath of the Wild's going to come out.
So many people bought that system thinking the new Zelda game was going to be on it. Because when they originally had when they originally released the Wii U, they were like, yeah, there's going to be a new Zelda title on here. And I mean, they put out a lot of quality remasters, like the Wind Waker remaster, and you could play a lot of the older games. But it definitely, like, those are not to the caliber of Breath of the Wild, in my opinion. I wasn't a huge fan of the Legend of Zelda games beforehand, but with the more, like, Western approach that Breath of the Wild takes, I enjoyed it a lot more. I am enjoying it a lot more.
And then something else, it was, what was the one, the Twilight Princess one?
Yeah, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that was originally just supposed to come out for the GameCube. And then they, it was like 6 months before the Wii came out. So like, oh, we'll just wait and release it and then port it onto the Wii.
Yeah, technically they remastered.
Yeah,
it
was.
They've remastered that game
Nintendo's
three times.
is doing a piss poor job these days. And you'd think that, oh, they're a big company, they shouldn't be doing this stuff. Well, it's not affecting sales almost at all. Because Nintendo is something that you go back to because that was like...
It was like, it's your nostalgia fix.
Yeah, it was a big, prominent part of your childhood, of your upbringing, and
I mean, if we're being real, like, these games are good. I think it's ridiculous that Nintendo will release the same game, like, 12 times. I mean, it's not Kingdom Hearts level, but, like, they definitely release the same game over and over again.
No, I love the release of new games, and but I think they should do more if they're gonna keep doing some, because they've released like the older like Pokemon Yellow and Blue and Red, when I really just want them to, I know they've already made a new game about it, I want them to remake Silver and Crystal and Gold.
Yeah.
Even though they have Soul Silver or whatever, but I just want the original ones. And I would pay $10 for that.
Yeah.
But apparently that's not going to happen, so...
Yeah,
now we're on a totally different topic, but...
Well, no, we can bring it back around. So, with Red Dead 2 coming out, we were talking about this a little bit ago. How would you feel if, I honestly wouldn't mind if Red Dead 2 was pushed back to a later date, if it had some sort of mechanical issues, if there was something wrong with it. But, I don't, like, at the moment, with us knowing almost nothing about it...
Literally nothing about it.
I could honestly see it getting delayed because the game is just not finished.
Which is totally fine with me. I don't want them to release a game that comes out and it's...
Yeah, like a half-ass game.
Just a half-ass game. It's like, oh, it will be the game you wanted, just not yet. Just not yet.
You don't want to No Man's Sky it?
Yes, essentially. But, knowing Rockstar as the last game I had played... from Rockstar on opening day, it didn't have the online. Yeah, just push it back.
Yeah, having it as like a placeholder. Yeah. I mean, there are ups to having that placeholder. Like, you get it out and you get that taste, like GTA 5 for some people who just wanted to play online.
I had the taste. It was Red Dead. It was the second Red Dead.
You the first Red Dead?
Well, there was Red Dead Revolver.
Well, there's Red Dead Revolver, yeah. Which I don't know. Technically, it was like in the same universe.
I don't think it is, but
I mean, it's cool.
It's a Red Dead.
I mean, Red Dead Revolver is pretty legit. I really loved Red Dead Revolver.
It's
a good game.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about Western games, I would like to talk about the most underrated Western game, pretty much of all time, Gun. It's a damn good game.
Never played it.
I loved Gun. Gun was awesome. I 100%ed that game. I played it so much. Like, that is a great game.
You know, I don't know if I've ever 100%ed a game. So, congratulations.
The only reason that I ever 100%ed a game before and now, like with like trophies and everything like that, and achievements and, you know, everything, the only reason I ever 100%ed a game was because I didn't have any other games to play.
I take that back. I'm pretty sure I 100%ed Destiny, and then they started releasing more DLCs.
Yeah, that's very true.
So,
The Flawless Raider is definitely an interesting achievement.
I'm pretty sure I have that
trophy
one.
to get. Yeah, you basically just go through a raid without anybody dying, which I'm technically pretty sure we like totally cheesed Crota and did it. So
Yeah.
but, I mean, hey, whatever, dude.
But then like you also have to find all the ghosts and stuff. But I did all that stuff, so I'm pretty sure I 100% of the game. But then like more DLC came out, I haven't kept up, so I take that back.
Do you think
the only game I've 100%ed is an online only game? So
yeah, very true. Do you think that, like, since we're on the topic of Destiny, do you think with like their promises and everything, do you think if they pushed Destiny back 1 year and made and included like all the DLC, but technically that would just be the game at that point, do you think that game would have been better? Like, I think it would have been better off if they did it. If they did something like that, they pushed it back 1 year and included technically, like, it obviously wouldn't be DLC, but they just included everything that is DLC now.
I
Or
think
it
the
would
game
have
was
been
fine
during
when it
year
came
two.
out. I really enjoyed the game when it first came out.
I enjoyed it when it first came out, but I was looking for more story. And
See, I don't care about story.
yeah, exactly. I was looking for more story, and honestly, like, the Taken King is the only thing that gave more story. Like, there is story, don't get me wrong, there is story in the Dark Below, in the House of Wolves, and I did enjoy that, but it's not enough. It was like a taste of story. It's the same thing with Rise of Iron. It's a taste.
See,
It's
I was
not what
just there
want.
for the raids and the
Yeah, the raids is definitely decent. Vault of Glass was a good raid. And, what was his name? Atheon was a damn good boss. Like, that's a fun raid.
The thing about their raids is that everyone has to be on point. When
Yeah.
other games like DC Universe or something, only like 4 of the people really
people
have to
can,
be
like,
on
carry
point.
you.
Yeah. But in Destiny it was like maybe you could carry one person through. But like everyone else had to be on their game to do it.
Yeah,
Until we figure out how to just
you could,
one
like, cheese
one person bosses, yeah.
Yeah, like Crota was easy. I don't think Vault of Glass was ever that easy, but like Crota, definitely easy.
Yeah.
But to essentially sum up what we're talking about, we both think it's a good idea to release games a little bit later, like South Park: The Fractured Butthole. It has been delayed. I understand why it's been delayed. I'm assuming it's because of like issues with Ubisoft, like it was with the Stick of Truth and everything.
Well, there's always issues with Ubisoft, so.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's like literally.
That's
all
the
I hear
one
about them.
consistent with that company
Is
is there's
there's
always
issues.
issues.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, they make great games. Don't get me wrong, but there's always issues.
They definitely make great games. But yeah, it's been pushed back. Not a whole lot of like reasons why, but honestly, if it was to make the game better, I'm very much okay with it. If this game comes out a fully fledged like great game, I will not mind having to wait an extra year.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't want a game to come out and the mechanics just be totally garbage, and then that just throw me off the game completely.
Yeah, and then you
when
won't
they
come
do
back.
fix it, I don't come back because it's like,
You have
well,
that
that
sour
was
taste in
so
your mouth.
bad.
Yeah. You're like, the game was so terrible in the beginning that I never want to go back to it again because of that original, like, your first impressions.
Well, not
of games
necessarily
are
because I don't want to go back. I'm despite it, just because I'm moved on.
No, I'm not saying you don't want to go back. I'm saying first impressions with gaming is almost everything. Like, I mean, studios' first impressions of studios is a very big deal, and first impressions with original games is a big deal. And like putting out a game too early and it having a bunch of mechanical issues is just a terrible idea.
And you're just gonna move on from it. It's not that you're like totally spiting that game. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like a friend mentions it and you're like, yeah, that game's terrible. Like, no, it's fun now. You're like, well, I'm so far behind that it's not really worth.
Yeah, it's like people talking about Destiny now. They're like, that was so bad. There's no reason to play it.
Well,
There's definitely a reason to play it. It's a pretty good game.
it's very interesting.
It's very decent. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you comment letting us know how you feel about this topic. If you think it's a good idea to delay games, if you just want games out immediately, you just want that taste, anything like that. Make sure you subscribe for all of our upcoming content. We post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you watch our other videos. We are always this awkward and always this awesome. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great one.